But he's flying! Yes! There's history!
There in front, the crowd roaring, go, Lonro, go, but the 3-year-old's in front, they'll say it, Lonro, he's coming, he's going to get there, yes, Lonro won it! Proud by my Whisper won the last.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast. Ooh, spring is so close. Sir John Monash, it's always my favourite meeting because I know we're close to the spring carnival. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Worm. That's a nice little intro. I don't mind that. Spring is very close. The community, you can tell they're getting very into it as well when they come out with horses like Benno just going in for an easy kill midweek.
Yeah, I tried to put the Moz on it this week and no, absolutely pissed in. So well done to me. It's good. It's even just reading the news or watching.com and hearing horses coming back into work. It just gets you a little bit excited to, open up the books and get cracking again.
As you know, being a Carlton supporter, my favourite time of year is the off-season when we just talk about the potential of us getting better. And right now I feel like in the racing industry, we're talking about the potential for this spring. Horses potentially coming over from Japan to enter the Melbourne and the Caulfield Cups. That's always a good time of year.
Yeah, I don't know how I can put Carlton into horse racing terms. I don't know. It's like a benchmark 58 beaten up maidens, maybe.
How about we compare them to the VRC? They were good once upon a time.
Yeah, well said. Once upon a time. This week we're going to be previewing Randwick Race 8, Caulfield Race 8, Bets Around the Grounds, multi-pineapple of the week. I held on to it for once, so that was good. Let's just try and get a winning streak with that one for me. A lot of talking points we're going to get through, and we will get cracking. Before we get cracking, subscribe to our YouTube channel or any podcast platform, guys, as Matty drops out. So good timing. Please subscribe to our YouTube or any podcast platform, guys. If you are a Spotify listener, please rate us on there. We would love to grow our rating and audience. We do this all for free. I say it each week, no paywalls. We do this for the love of it. So please subscribe and rate our podcast. If you'd like to be part of the Whispers WhatsApp group that Matty mentioned before, the community, please DM me. I'll put you straight through. You can email me as well at samkennedy14 at gmail.com. Thank you to all the TikTok people that got involved on our Saturday set that we call. We had 5,000 views on that and a lot of people saying thank you for the winners. So anyone on TikTok, thank you. Hopefully you're a subscriber. So please get involved if you would like to become part of the community or just rate and like. That's all we ask for being all free. Talking points. We've got a few this week. It's been, as we said, spring's in the air. I'll start off with Dunkel. If you're a regular listener, you would know how much I love this horse. So I thought I'd update the people watching that it's going to have a light spring. So it's a bit of a negative, but aiming for the 2024 Cups campaign. Trainer said it had a heavy 3-year-old season. So they're going to have a light spring. I personally like it. As trainers and owners can be sucked in and aimed too high too quickly, and their handicap rating can be smashed very quickly. So, he's looking after the horse, which is the main thing. And, we might see a very nice 4-year-old. Globe, massive end to the end of autumn sort of at Sandown, had some massive wins. Trainer did a DNA on it, and it's come back saying it's not a stayer. So the camp are aiming the horse for 2,000 metres, no further. Matty, would you entertain Globe in a Cox Plate?
Not this time of year, but I would like to see how it enters the spring. 2,000 metres. I can see what they're thinking.
I don't know if I could entertain a ticket, but geez, I hope it goes through the grades and we have something to talk about this spring, especially Globe. And Yeah, be interesting. Obviously, that leads us into talking about Caulfield Cup, Cox Plate, Melbourne Cup markets. Matty, you want me to run through the top 5 to see if I can entertain you in a bet? Or one
Yes,
of us
please.
can. We'll start with the obviously Caulfield Cup. Sorry, I thought they moved the Caulfield Cup. Favorite this point in time is Kovalika $11, White Marlin 13s. Without a fight 13s, breakup from Japan 15s, and due by honor $15. So we'll count him out and maybe say Goldman next in line at 15s.
Well, the first 2 you mentioned have both been pineapples on this show. I know Kovalika is one that we followed from the start of this preparation, headed up north, did exceptionally well, and the community's been all over it. So I'd be interested to see if that actually went down to a Caulfield Cup. Outside of that, I don't think I could entertain any of the rest of this stage.
If you had a gun to my head, I would maybe look at without a fight in a few multis to run a place at $4. Not knowing where it's going, maybe Cox Plate, maybe Caulfield Cup, might do both. But yeah, that's probably the only sort of ticket. I keep looking down. Oh man, there's not much you can entertain. Globe's 51s in the 17s, and we know what's happening there. Yeah, that might.
Yeah, and look, on that, I think Kovalika is more likely to go to a Cox Plate than what it is to Caulfield.
Yeah, you just don't know with Chris Waller what he could do being a 4-year-old. So that's it's a big ask. Cox Plate. We have Romantic Warrior, $4.20. Equinox, $8. Probably very, very doubtful. Without a fight, $8. Due by honor, $9. Light Infantry, $9, who we saw in the spring in Sydney in those big races. Mr. Brightside, $11. Aft Cabin, 13s. Matty, would you entertain any of those?
Is James Cummings taking your horse there?
I'm just looking down the barrel, mate. That's why I'm not looking at you. I'm going past $26 and I'm not seeing. There he is, $31 and $8.50.
And just for the listeners, who was that?
Cascadian. I have had an early play on it because if it wins something in the spring early, you're not getting 31s.
No, that's right. And smart play. Again, those top 6, 7, 8 that you mentioned, I don't think I could have an early play in the Cox Plate on any of those. Yeah,
considering Sapati and Tuvalu are $26 and Cascadian's 31. So, going back to the top, Romantic Warrior will be, I think, is a good get for the Cox Plate. They're targeting that. So, $4.20, beat up Due by Honor, who beat up Animo. So, wow. Hopefully it does come out because I'd probably go and have a look to see Romantic Warrior. But
absolutely.
It's hard
Will there talk of any other internationals coming out for the Cox?
No, not yet. Not yet. They've done a lot of invites. They invited Equinox. There's no chance of them coming out here, but you never know. But yeah, I haven't heard. Oh, Light Infantry. I've heard the owner on SEN track talking about bringing it out.
Okay.
And that had a huge rap on it last year. And the last one, the Melbourne Cup, 3,200 meters. We've got the favourite here, Vauban, at $10. Goldman already qualified, $11. Luna Flare, $13, already qualified. White Marlin, non-qualified, 14s. Breakup, 15s. And yeah, do you entertain anything there, Matty?
Just tell me the next couple.
Yeah, you have Silver Sonic that I haven't done any research on. Solcombe, $17. Without a Fight, $17. Francesco Guardi, $18.
Okay, Silver Sonic would be one I'd be interested in, but wouldn't be taken until I know it's coming out.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the thing with the Melbourne Cup. On those horses that probably around about the high teens, you're probably going to get at least low teens on the day.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if you can get in before anyone else and know a horse is coming out, you can definitely get some good prices.
Mm.
I haven't heard of half of these, so that'd be interesting.
Doesn't say much for our stays, but that's okay.
Nah, but if I could entertain something, I am taking a few multis with Goldman running a place at around $3.50. Just to, yeah, that's something I do. I like to take place bets this far out because, geez, it's hard to get a win bet. I do have a little play the win, but yeah, I play a lot of multis around the footy, GFs, and place betting in the big springs. So that'd be one of I have done with Collingwood.
Luckily, we're pretty much on the money when it comes to the Melbourne Cup when we do see the final 24. So might have to wait a little longer.
Yeah, well, mate, you don't have to wait much longer with the weekend that I have had listening and on socials. VRC, I've just seen if you'd entertain a ticket here, Matty. VRC on their socials on Saturday were quite active with First Immortal winning on Saturday, the 2,500 metre 3-year-old race. Their headline was, could we see this horse on the first Tuesday in November? I replied, surely you guys were meaning the 2,800 metre race on Melbourne Cup Day.
How many zeros are you putting on the ticket?
I think it'll have more zeros than 2,800 metres.
All right, I'll throw 10 on there.
Oh, good luck to the owners. I hope they have a runner and all that. But yeah, I just almost fell off my chair when I saw it. Don't know if that'll get more people at the track, that sort of social media work. But hey, never know. And then Monday morning, I was listening to RSN, their verdict when they review the whole weekend. And my favourite, Matty Stewart, jumped on and asked what price LaBelle was for the Melbourne Cup. Now, if you don't know what this horse is, it won its jumps maiden by 25 lengths at Warrnambool on Sunday. Almost crashed into the car in front of me when he was actually being dead serious, asking for a price. This is why RSN's probably going to be redundant in a couple of years when you've got people making comments like that, when they should be looking at podcasts like ours that actually give out good information and not shit information. Would you entertain a ticket?
On the last lap of the Melbourne Cup, they might put a couple of jumps in there for LaBelle.
No wonder they bring protocols in. But anyway, I'll move on before we go right. Randwick race 5, Matty, benchmark 78 over the 1,400 metres. You're keen to have a look?
I am, mate. I am. Mate, before we get started on that, tell us what the track's going to do when the rail's 9 metres out.
Yep.
And then 7 metres, 9 metres winning post to 1,000, 7 metres the rest of the track.
Yeah,
where do you want to be?
I think if it's going to be the good track that we think it is, I reckon on pace suited will be the place to be.
Perfect. Very good. That's what I like to hear. Have you got the odds there for race number 5?
I do, mate. I'm actually prepared this time. I don't have to slow talk to get through it. So we got the favourite Resonator, $3.10. Exceladus, $4.80. Battleton, $6.50. Winegrass Bay, it's got an asterisk next to that because Matty likes it, $8.50. Mirror View, $9. And $14 plus the rest.
Perfect, mate. We'll have a quick look at the speed map. Resonator, I think, will jump from barrier number 3, go to the lead. It just depends on if something from out wide, potentially Knight or Excel Man, could come cross it. If that's the case, Resonator probably sits in second. Outside of that, I think Resonator finds a fairly soft lead here, mate. Look, there's only 3 horses I want to spend some time on. I don't necessarily think this is a very deep race. Wineglass Bay, I've tipped that previously. As you mentioned, I don't mind it. Look, there is definitely precedent for European horses who are looking to further coming out and being sharp enough first up, second up to actually win over the shorter distances. It's been 1,400 metres. I haven't found enough evidence to actually tip anyone into Wineglass Bay, but I do have this in my black book, and it's one that I'm really keen to see how it does come out. So, look, Wineglass Bay, it'll probably get back and run on, but it'll be one I'll be keeping an eye on for future races. I think it's got an enormous amount of upside. So Wineglass Bay, more so for the future than here. We're one at odds though. Silent Agenda, around about that $20-21 mark. Now, if this drew a gate, I'd be exceptionally keen because I'd be able to sit a little bit closer. But from barrier number 11, I think it's going to need to go back, and it could even be sitting too wide. But from this wide draw, what it enables it to do is, with Tommy Sherry on board, it will be winding up. Now, I hope Tommy gets it going before the corner so it's actually got time, because its best is over 1,800 metres, not the 1,400 metres. If Tommy does wind it up early enough, expect it to be absolutely flying home. I'm expecting this to run the best last 300 of this race. And at $21, I think a place bet is quite a decent option for Silent Agenda. As I said, 1,800 metres is its prime distance, 1,400 a bit short, but from that wide gate, it may be able to wind up and finish off and, sneak into a second or third. But, mate, I think it's going to be very hard for it to be able to get past Resonator. Now, Resonator, it was really well backed last start and really well backed exceptionally late. It fought on really well. And as I mentioned up front, I don't expect it to have too much trouble unless something crosses it early. Even if something does cross it early, I don't see that being a problem for it. It's dropping back from 1,500 metres to 14. Now, generally speaking, I don't like horses dropping back in distance. But if it is going to be on pace, 15 back to 14, I only see that as being a bit more of an advantage. It's going to find the line exceptionally well. It's going to run through it, rather than if they kept it at 15 or even increased its distance out to 16, I would be questioning whether it'd be able to run that by leading the whole way. So look, Resonator for me, I thought it was exceptional last start. It was exceptionally well backed, and I think they'll find it here very late as well. So, for me, I do have a Resonator on top around about that $3 mark. Amy McLucas on board. Fingers crossed, she just needs to jump from barrier number 3, find the lead. If she does get crossed, don't panic. Follow the horse to the corner and then hit go. Resonator should have too much pace for them down the straight. Worm, how did you see this one?
Mate, I am aligning with you. It's scary that we're aligning. I like the drop in distance to 1,400. 15 back to 14. No issue with me. On the 7-day backup, big tick for me. I'm not worried about Amy McLucas. I've backed her in with the pineapple once before, and she saluted for us. So I think she can ride. I really like the claim with it, though. That's what it entertains me. 58. It's an 81 rater. Most of these are 70 rated, and should be getting 5 kilos off, but he's only giving the bottom 3 kilos. So yeah, I know it's a 3-year-old against older horses, but I like that. Gay Waterhouse is a very smart trainer, or Adrian Bott as well. And yeah, I'll take that 290 and we will be betting.
Yep. No, I don't mind it at all.
Good. Short and sharp. I can't even ask you about any other horses because I can't entertain any.
I'll give my thoughts quickly on Excellitas. Now, it should have won last start. I can see why the owners / trainer have taken Jay Ford off, because he almost fell asleep in that last 75, 50 metres. So very disappointed they didn't get a W there. But definitely coming in the betting, and I can see it off the back of that last start. I just don't necessarily see it being able to get past Resonator here, which is why I haven't even spoken about it. I think Resonator will be able to hold it off down the straight. I don't see it as really being too much of a challenger. Look, if you're on Excellitas last start and you like it here, I completely understand. But again, I'll refer back to the rail being out as far as it is, you don't want to be getting too far back. I'd much rather be back in front runners than I would even midfielders. And that's where I see Excelitors here. Resonata on speed, if not just sitting off the speed. That's where I would like to be. I think 290 is a very good price to back it.
Yep. Like you're thinking there, mate. I absolutely align. I can't add any more than what you've said. Well previewed. We just need the race to be run and won, and we'll be counting our money. Race 8, Caulfield, I'm going to do. So John Monash, Group 3. The odds favourite here is Ingratiating 440, Sai $5, Maliva $6.50, Malkovic $7, Katsu $9, General Bow $12, Sweet Ride $12. You can have $18 plus the rest. Speed map here, interesting speed map. Malkovic, I don't think he will lead from barrier 11, and I reckon he's going to use a bit of power to get across and find the right part of the track. Now, to say, I'll keep going. Because by race 8, I reckon there might be off the rail if the rain arrives. I will go into that very shortly. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure for Malkovic. He's not going to have it his own way. I think Katsu kicks up, will go across from 9. Stella Rocker from 8 will be going across. Maliva from 6, I think, will just take the sit. Rattle and Bang, I don't know what they're doing, A, in the race, or B, what they're going to do with this speed map. I've mapped them forward. Sweet Ride, he led in its most recent jump out, and I don't think it liked it, and I think they'll take the city. Bless Her gets a beautiful spot from the 2. Sai, interesting runner here, what they do from 1. I'll talk about track conditions shortly, what could happen here. And then you're going to have an ingratiator out the back with General Bow. Track, its rail is 3 meters, but there is rain coming Saturday between 2 to 7 mil. Now, it all depends what falls here. If they get 7, it could be a heavy track. If they get 2, we're looking at soft 5, soft 6. So we've got to sit and wait. If the rain does come, I reckon inside lanes 1 and 2 will not be the place to be. So Sai from 1 is the interesting thing here. At least by race 8, we will know how the track's playing and we know how to bet by then. So in saying all that, I'm keen to be with Ingratiating here. I know it's going to be against my map and how the track will play, but it's first up here. It's had 2 jump outs. I've loved its most recent one. It was under an absolute hold, and through the line, it was even stronger. Love the booking of Ben Mallam on this. I feel this horse will find its spot near the rear, just find its feet. And as I said in the speed map, I think they might cut each other up in front. And 50 meters to go, I reckon we'll be screaming down the outside to win. I like this horse's numbers when it's first up, especially on a heavy track and soft tracks. It's good enough to beat these. Won't be an issue with the conditions, as I said. This horse was huge first up and second up last prep. First up 1, second up, it just got beaten by Paul Ailey. We know what it did in the spring. Forget the Everest. That was just an impossible task. Then went to Newcastle and ran a 1,300-meter race. That didn't suit either. So you take those 2 out, it's not a $4.40 chance. If it brings its first up from last prep, it should have these benchmark 90 horses absolutely covered. Malkovic jumped out really well recently and won by 7 lengths. The time was quick, but I can't assess this horse considering its poor form recently. I reckon its nickname in the barn must be Yo-Yo because it's just form is up and down. Hard to recommend off its recent form. I'm just going to stay away just because of the pressure it's going to have. And its last 2 runs have been just awful, not finding the front or finding the front and just not producing. Maliva here. Now, clear danger for me. It's had 1 jump out on the synthetic, went really well. I've loved to have seen another one from this horse, but we're dealing with 1 jump out. The 2 runs prior to its spell, they were really good, and I thought it might have been back to its best. Won the St. John Monash last year, beating Bless Her. $5.50. I wouldn't talk you out of this horse at all. If you like it, clear danger for me. Now, Sai. I know I was negative before, and I'm going to keep being negative here. I'm keen to take this on here. If the rain arrives, the inside 2 lanes will be off. Barrier 1 won't be the place to be. And by race 8, we know how the track will play. Now, I've heard the trainer last start say the horse doesn't like to be crowded or inside horses. Well, barrier 1, you're going to be crowded and inside horses. So he reckons it won't try. So it wouldn't surprise me if they scratch, but if they run, oh, yes, I'll be hitting the pink button. I just don't know. I think its best wins have been, we've seen when it's won, its best wins have been down the outside horses. So that backs it up. Plus, I think good 3 and good 4 tracks suit this horse better. So any rain, I'm keen to be against Cy, but happy to be with Ingratiating to win the Group 3 Sir John Monash. Matty.
Like it. That's really good insight for Cy. Obviously, well and truly in the market, and yeah, what is it? 3 out of its last 4 or something similar to that. So really good insight, especially given Uncle Pete doesn't like the inside draw. Look, I just want to ask you about one of these, Annabelle Nation's horse, Sweet Ride. Likes going forward. Appointment of Linda Meach on board at Caulfield. How do you see that? Do you see it being able to get to the front?
Oh, geez, I think it's going to be hard with Malkovic. Especially you got Katsu and Estella Rocca who don't want to take a sit either, and they're on its outside, so they're going to burn as well. Sweet Ride will try and maybe cross Maliva if they want to go forward. So they can probably find lane 3 where Malkovic will be 4 and just burning. I just didn't like its last jump out, Sweet Ride. It was against Ingratiating. The last 100, it was absolutely hard ridden and was going backwards. I didn't like it whatsoever, and I can't recommend it. So if you like it, have a bet.
Yeah, so I guess if you have a look at that, and you kind of mentioned a few of those horses that do like to find the on speed, for the horse that you've tipped coming from barrier number 4, Ingratiating, does it just sit behind these and then get its opportunity on the corner?
Yeah, I reckon he's going to have a few bums he can follow. I just think the last 150, they could be all going up on the one spot. And I reckon Benny Mallon they'll just say to him one last crack. And yeah, if they find that soft 6 or worse, I think I think it'll just go straight past them.
Okay. No, very well previewed. I think that realistically, it's not a deep field.
No, I've almost classed this a benchmark 90 with Flying Mascot rating of 103. It might be gone.
Yep.
And Malkovic 102. It's a yo-yo. So you got a Gratiating at 103 top rater, General Bow 98, Maliva 99. So that's why Maliva's, I think, still got something in the tank to produce something here and Ingratiating. So it could be a 2-bet play come Saturday, but at the moment it's Ingratiating very keen.
No, I like it.
All right, around the grounds, Matty, where are you going?
Mate, we will be going up to Sydney, race number 6, Muta Manani. Now, this is an American horse who's had a few starts out here under the Waller stable. If you haven't seen it, mate, go back and watch its first start in Oz at Sandown. It got trapped on the inside and got up in the final 50 metres, but powered through the line. Second up was exceptionally flat when it ran at Sandown. Just didn't run out the last 200 metres. Quite common for Chris Waller horses. Third up, exceptionally well when it ran midweek up in Sydney, and we find it 4th up here. Now, my only concern for this horse is the rail, because I do believe it's going to get back. However, looking at what it did last start, where it was well and truly back at Warwick Farm, it ran through the line exceptionally well and that's what I'm expecting it to do in Sydney this weekend. Mutamani, I do like in race number 6 win.
Nice. Anything else?
No, for around the grounds, that's it for me this week.
Oh,
I will share any other thoughts on Saturday when I do see Weatherland, especially in Melbourne.
I like it. Be part of the community and you get more. My around the grounds, I've got one Randwick race 9. I own a Merc. I think if you're on social media, you would be well publicised about this horse. Jockey was claiming to be concussed last start and was stood down straight after the ride. Steward's report didn't. No vision was seen of it. Steward's report said she bumped her head coming out of the gates. So when they did come out of the gates, she did not ride this at all. And it was the horse almost fell asleep, I reckon. And it was hard ridden to stay intact. Made beautiful ground up to only go down by 3 lengths under medium riding. Normally sits on pace, and its best wins have been on pace. Was the first time being that far back and running. Now a jockey upgrade. Barrier 8 can sit outside leader. Will be hard to beat. So that is race 9 Randwick. I own a Merc. Matty, multi, what are you throwing in?
I'll be throwing in Mutamani, Sydney race number 6, and Restorator, Sydney race number 5, both for the place.
All right. I'm going to throw in Ingratiating the Place, and I own a Merc. It's short this time, but we're confident we can take the chocolates at $5.40. Probably a bit different elsewhere with whoever you bet with. So that's Ingratiating the Place in Melbourne. And then the rest are in Sydney. Race 5, Resonator, the place. Race 6, Mutamani, the place. And I own a Merc, race 9, the place at $5.40. All right, pineapple time. Geez, you almost sold me on Resonator there, Matty, because I didn't mind it when you said you were previewing it. So that's scary, and I like it when we align. But it was almost ingratiating. But there's one horse, and it's just been scratched from Sydney, so it's definitely running in Melbourne. So that is Caulfield, race 2, number 6, Artonius. Fuck me, I'm having a nightmare today. Maybe I should have listened at school. Kids, make sure you read your books, not your best bets every weekend, all right? So Caulfield, race 2, number 6, Artonius. We'll go with that one. That sounds a lot better. I just love this horse's first 2 wins this prep up in Sydney. One was Newcastle. The other one, I think, was Rose Hill. Won both of them with something left in the tank. 2,000 will suit. Barrier, not an issue because it will come. It came from last at Randwick. Sorry, yep, it was Randwick. So it came from last. At the 300, it was still last, and at the 150, it hit the front. I think this is a good horse. Should get a nice cart into the race. I know that it looks like a busted race, but there's some horses that are going to be at the back that will drag this horse into it. By race 2, if the rain arrives, they might be still on the rail. Now, down the middle of the track might be the place to be, and that's where we'll be. Down the middle of the track will suit. I think its France form is good enough to win this, and especially that hurdle form it had in wherever it was before it came out here. Beautiful. Get involved, punters. That's Caulfield. Race 2, number 6, Artonius.
Artonius.
Yeah.
Mate, if it wins this, is it going to a Melbourne Cup over the jumps?
No, I think this, like we spoke about Faulkner Park last week, I think this might be a touch better.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Faulkner Park. That was impressive again. 5 from 5 in Oz. I'm really, really keen to see where Annabelle sends Faulkner Park.
Maybe a little cheeky Metrop, but I think this horse goes better. 2,000 meters. This one, I think it ticks the box. Josh Parr. Now, don't get sucked in here. He's not down to ride this. He didn't come to ride this one. He's down to ride Malkovic. So don't say he's come for this ride. It's not this one. He's just got this one along the way, but it's a bloody handy horse to have a pickup in a benchmark 78 where these horses do not have a future. And this does. So take
Very
the
nice.
two. I think it's 280. It's been scratched in Sydney, so it's probably going to firm to about 240 because of that. And yeah, I think it's just going to start our day off with a bang at 12:25 p.m. at Caulfield.
A nice little fill up before 12:30. Perfect.
Yep. Meat pie before, count and cash it afterwards. Anything else to add, Matty?
No, mate. No. Looking forward to this weekend's racing. Look at a number of horses coming back, especially from carnivals up north when they were running up there within the Magic Millions Carnival. So interested to see how a lot of these horses come back. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend. I'll be keeping my eye on Sydney as usual. You'll keep your eye on Melbourne.
Yeah, and Pakenham synthetic as well.
Perfect.
But yeah, thank you all for listening or watching, however you do. Please rate us on Spotify or just subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's what we would love for more people to do. Hopefully you fill your pockets up. More importantly, we hope we fill your pockets up. We'll be back next week for, I think it's off-peak racing. So every 2 weeks, it's going to be some good racing involved. But Matty, thank you for joining, and I will catch you next week. Not even a goodbye.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.
And the Tigers are beating the Swans with a minute to go.